Well played. Well played.
well played. If hazing on the consent practices.
Like,
That's true.
I can do that very naturally.
there's
Ah. They can't hear you.
They can't hear you.
So,
It's me, Ashton, the person who doesn't press the buttons. This is so professional. I'm really good at this whole streaming thing.
That's
now
an issue.
we're definitely starting in the middle.
I can't push buttons for you.
Something that's even more professional is I have to get up because my wireless headphones are dying just at this moment.
Okay, cool.
So
All right.
talk amongst
Alright.
yourselves.
I can talk about my feelings.
Do you want to talk about your?
I love this.
Andrew?
yeah. I think you should definitely talk about your feelings. Oh, if your feelings can be heard. If not, you should talk about them anyway. Just knowing that they
I spent a lot of
I
time talking about my feelings and not being heard, Sean.
Andrew, at the very least, know that I am here to hear your feelings.
that makes me very sad, Andrew. I want to hear you, and I want other people to hear you as well.
Well, Ash and I talked to Ash about all my feelings about her game already, though.
Oh, that's true.
I gave my feedback. And so I'm curious if the game is going to change at all from that first week to now, if we want to do that, or
So I was
if
wondering-
anything has changed. I suppose
Yeah.
is what I should say.
So the couple of things that got changed, that have been changed in the rules since we've played it is one. There's been the change to the way that momentum works. So momentum is now much more a group pool than it was. You can see we've got some tokens set up there on the map. But yeah, Andrew made some really good points about what we in the last game had a bit of like a stutter when we were trying to choose our like skin for the Republic. And so one of the things that I've done to do that is that I've put some scaffolding in. It's not finished yet, but so that there are specific Republic playbooks. So there is a specific one that is for the Republic of Salt, which is what I've called the one that we're playing in. And part of that game includes marking a map because of Luke's tree game. So I was wondering, do we want to go through and update ourselves for the changes to the rules? Because the two things that we need to do if we want to do that is go through, each of us mark a site on the map we've got like a list of, let me bring up the PDF so that I can see the specifics. We've got a list of sites, and then our pillars also get marked on the map. So this is to give us a more stable feeling of where we are, give us place and things like that. So the default sites, we can add our own if we want, are an agora, a bustling marketplace filled with loud merchants and stray animals, the Grand Colosseum where blood is spilled for sport, pines in the wind singing songs of the forgotten dead, grand statues of heroes, generals and philosophers, barges and aqueducts bringing water and trade to the city, and the Grand Lighthouse guiding ships and mines to safety. So those are just, the hope is that that by adding these things to the map we get a stronger feeling of like where we are as far as what our version of the Republic looks like. How are people feeling about that?
I have a question about it, and that is, I'm pulling up my sheet, and we had various things that we tied to. We had aspects, and then we had institutions, and then they had their move and their pillar. And are the locations intended to be tied one-to-one to those institutions or to the pillars, or are they another sort of layer where they may overlap, they may intersect? Obviously, they speak to the public, but I'm wondering how closely they're tied.
Sites are there to help out, but we could just mark our pillars on the or our own locations. It's just to give us something to work on, so we can see. So, for instance, we could put Dr. Policy into the map and say this is where he is physically. Or we could say he moves around, he's a person, so we don't need to mark him. We could say that the perfect half is here on the map, or we could say that it's not on this map, it's somewhere else. It would be hard to mark a pillar that is an idea. That wouldn't be marked on the map, so...
well, the Heroes Field is a...
Yeah, I feel like that belongs on
that's a scene we've seen, and it's a place, and I feel like that's a really relevant one, because I think that's for both Pyros and Risa, it's like an important space as well, right? Because they both kind of come into conflict there. So,
and I feel like the Pines in the Wind makes sense being near that, like they would pair nicely with it.
Yeah.
And I like the pines, so I've put them on that hill. That's where the pines are.
Cool. Neat. Yeah, I just grabbed one of my old maps from a previous D&D campaign and was like, this is now the capital of the Republic of Salt. I was like, done.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Because also all of these updates are now in the released version, the currently released version on Itch and on Drive-Thru. So if you've got it through either of those, they're now there. So yeah, is this the Heroes Field that's being drawn?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
It's beautiful.
Cool. Neat. The other thing that the update requires us to do is to actually fill out all of our armaments. Because that then gives us a bit more of a feeling of like who our character is because of what they own. So when creating a character, you need to create 5 armaments. So you should, those who already have some, you should be able to fit them into these categories. Something from your family, something from your occupation, something that guides you, something beautiful, and something that has sinned. So, that's just to give you, so that you've got an item that, again, this is the thing where I continually take the number 5 and reintegrate each of the elements.
Right, so, find ways. Well, I had something from the family, something from your occupation, something that guides you, and something that is sin, and I'm missing one.
Something beautiful.
Something beautiful.
You need to have something beautiful, Sean.
We all need something beautiful.
I've got a disarming smile. That's my beautiful thing.
Yeah, thank you, Luke, for giving the example, because, Ash, can you remind us what the sort of scope of armaments are? They certainly could be a thing, but they can also be knowledge or...
they're a thing that you can have. I feel like it's a thing that you could... I don't think it's a property of you, is the only thing, right? It's something that you possess. So, like, I shouldn't have my wounds as a thing. I feel like your wounds are a thing that has... This is going to be a weird way of explaining it. In Mandarin, there is a participle "la" to suggest that something has changed, that you weren't always this, and so if you've gained your disarming smile, then sure, that's a thing that that you've picked up. So I think that can be an armament. But if it's something that you always had, then I think that's a property of you.
Right, whereas I went straight to the like scum and villainy place where I was like, yes, I'm gonna equip my fine bedside manna, thank you.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it like
Right.
knowledge and wounds are totally, I feel like, usable. I just feel like maybe
Is it something that I have gained, but also something I might lose later?
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely at the core of you.
And sorry, let's just give me that list one more time so I can write it down as I'm.
Yeah. It's
it.
on in the PDF. It is on page 7. It is something from your family, something from your occupation, something that guides you, something beautiful, and something that has sinned.
Well, I think my wounds are all I have from my occupation.
I love it.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the rest of these are tricky. We'll see.
Alright, I have mine locked in.
Normally we'd be doing this after we've put sites in as well, and talked about, but we've already done our institution, so we know our pillars, so that might be helpful as well.
Yep, so I have the following. Something from my occupation is my soup kitchen.
Yes.
Oh,
Can
shit, I've
you
done it in the
mark that
wrong
on the
order.
map?
My soup kitchen? Yes, I will figure out a place that I want to put that. But yeah, so I have something from my family, connection to community, and like specifically like the ethnic community to which my parents and I belong.
Yeah, I would almost have that as like a reputation or something.
Yeah, we're playing Burning Wheel now.
Yeah. Or like a place in the community, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll workshop exactly how I'm gonna phrase it, but that's like conceptually.
Yep.
I have from my occupation. I have the soup kitchen. I have something that guides me, an idol of my gods.
Cool.
I have something beautiful, hope that things might change.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm going to take that away from you so fast.
Try your hardest. And then I have something that has sinned, and it's my knowledge of anatomy, because I teach healing to anyone who asks, which is against the precepts of the Republic.
Okay, cool.
All right, I've got 2 of them right now.
Yeah?
I took my knowledge of the Old Imperium, and I decided that was something that came from my family, which puts a different twist on it, because that's knowledge of being conquered. Right, not knowledge of being the conqueror.
Yeah.
So, and then my occupation, which was wife of conqueror, is a taste, and the thing I've got from that is a taste for fine things.
Oh.
Because I really did envision that Shadi had, although not by her decision, had been given a place of comfort. Although, as a trophy, but nevertheless was given a place of comfort. So I'm going to work on the other.
Yep. That's
the
fine.
other 3 now.
Yep. Yeah, this is a game with a lot of front loading, so that is totally cool.
I have no clue what I'm going to do for most of these, but I think for what I got from my occupation is the skill to be seen but not heard, because I was a servant.
Is something that guides you a burning rage?
Possibly.
Because that feels kind of low-key true of the character you've been playing.
Yeah, I would
just putting it out there.
I would encourage people to look for physical objects, because it'll help you
Help us bring them into.
Yeah, it'll be you'll find them easier to bring into play, I think.
Hey Ash.
Yeah.
Can I have the memorial of the names, the place where I want my name to go
Yes,
be one of these things that guides me?
Yep.
Cool. So it's like the Heroes Memorial or something?
Yep.
Or the Wall of Heroes?
So that gives me a really interesting question. In what way is it yours?
Because I maintain it.
Yeah, right. That's what I want. It's your responsibility. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I am like a custodian of it.
Yep.
Alright, I just put a little red dot on the map, and that is where my cool soup kitchen is.
Right in the middle there. Cool.
Well, because so to my mind, because of where we've placed the Memorial of Heroes, like this kind of like cross, like intersection bit of town, like feels like the like citizen district.
Yeah.
And then this closely packed bit is like the slum.
Bit more slummy. Yep.
Yeah. And so I'm in the slums.
I like that you've hidden your soup kitchen like between 3 other buildings.
Well, yeah, like there's a whole bunch of like community housing.
Yeah.
And I provide food to all of those people because they are my community. Yeah. And the thing I got from my family is the trust of my community.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
Cool.
Ashley, I'm going to tell me if I'm getting too physical here, but your point of like making sure that something's physical so it's easy to tell what it's in scene has struck me. I'm thinking of something in terms of my occupation. Instead of a taste for beautiful things, it is my finely coiffed hair.
I mean,
which I like have kept somehow, even though I've like fallen from this place. Like it's the
You're
one
a character from the Hunger Games. You've still got your dumb over the top hair. I love it.
Sure. I wasn't thinking quite Central City or whatever that central place is.
Okay, so you're Basil from Roll20 Presents Burning Wheel Season 1.
Anyway, so what I'm hearing here is that this is like a set of skills as well as a physical, right? It's like the ability to like do your hair in a certain way as well.
It's the ability to do my hair. It's the combs and
I was gonna
the
say
scents and the oils.
There's like I would have a symbolic comb for that.
Yeah.
All
right. And then as guiding, I mean, I think this is like very appropriate to the institution that's affecting Shadi the most, which is the Citizens Forum. I think that Shadi should have I'm thinking either a map or a history book that is like the specific history of the new. It's all the things you need to know as a citizen, sort of, except for A, it's totally propaganda, and B, it's very incomplete because like this new Perfect Republic is very new. And I think perhaps a map where you have to like memorize all these sites makes slightly more sense than a book. So I think she has this map, and I read it in my mind almost like a tourist map. Like when you arrive at Washington D.C., it's like the Smithsonian is here and the Washington Monument is there. It's all these like sites of like importance important things have happened here. It's not like where to get groceries. Yeah, it's just so.
Yeah. Cool. Neat. All right. So
I'm going to call it the map of the Republic's treasures.
Nice. Excellent.
So I have mine all figured out if you want to hear about them.
Yeah. Okay.
So from my occupation, I have my wounds. From my family, I have memories of my past. From blah, 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 what was it? A thing that guides me is the Wall of Heroes. A thing that has sinned is a well-used sword that Piros had. He still has his sword. He's not meant to have it, and he has killed many people with it. And then the thing of beauty that he has is a collection of hand-carved figurines, which he has made, and they're all like very intricate and very like nicely crafted like figurines of people he knew from when he was in the army. And like, so he has memorialized his dead friends with these carvings of them.
I love that he's memorialized them himself, even though he's responsible for the formal memorial.
Yes. Yeah, he has like a personal, but he has like, it's like a whole collection of these things. Like there are lots and lots of them at whatever place he's staying at.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because like my reading is that something that is sinned, like implicit at the end of that sentence, is against the Republic.
No. It's so yeah. I need to. You're
gonna have to work on the wording there because like it feels like there would be no inbuilt concept of sin in this setting.
Yeah,
unless it is sin against the Republic, right? Like,
yeah, I almost said something with blood on its hands. But
like that feels
or something that
something
carries
tainted,
your guilt, or
So what I'm hearing to all of that is that my well-used sword is a great example of it.
Your well-used sword is an excellent example.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I totally know what mine is now. It's the key that I unlocked the door to the manor where I was serving to let the revolutionaries in.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so
I
good.
love it. Yeah.
So in which case, let me recast. The thing that makes my knowledge of anatomy stained is not the fact that I have taught it to others in defiance of the Republic. It's the fact that I use it to kill as often as I use it to heal.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Neat. All right. How are we all feeling? We're feeling like we've got enough?
I'm missing what Shadi has that is beautiful and what is sinned, but I'm percolating on those, and I'm happy to
let yourself like think about those as you go. I'm happy for you to, because this is an update. So the other main thing that we need to talk about is the way that momentum works now. There are 10 tokens on the board. You can turn one of them over to make it light, in order to introduce something, in order to make the situation worse, in order to make it sadder, to introduce, if you like, actually also there are some like dickheads here who want to like make trouble or anything like that. If you want to, they are your permission to take the GM reins and escalate the scene yourself, to introduce badness. When you do that and you flip it over to light, then light tokens can be spent to give everyone back dice when you're resting. So
cool. So they're like batteries that we charge up with sadness, and then unload with dice.
Yeah, and then we have a cathartic scene of like community support, and we all recharge.
Yep, exactly.
Dig it.
Yep. And then when those light ones are spent, they go away. They don't flip back over. You get new dark tokens at the end of a session based on some experience type questions.
Cool.
So let's catch up. We'd just seen, I believe last we checked in with our characters, what?
Someone was calling 911 because I murdered that cocky young douchebag.
Oh dear.
You didn't literally murder him, though, did you?
I didn't literally murder him. It was a metaphorical. I just roasted him.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. The Republic needs a Burns ward.
That's right.
That's.
I am the Burns ward.
It's okay. Carrick's has some solves in the back to help with that burn.
Yeah, and I think so. We've just seen that that dramatic like interaction, but you were still waiting on Risa, kind of
to get
nervously.
back. Yeah.
So I was wondering if that's where we come in. Risa, do you actually manage to make it back to the soup kitchen to do? Do you do deliveries? Is that how that works?
I mean, I thought that we had said, like, it was essentially my shift, but I think deliveries make sense, too.
Oh, right, yes, yeah. What is that, like, between Carrick's and Risa, what does Risa's role look like?
I think it's two things. I think it's, like, during service, it's deliveries, / because here's the thing, right? Like this is not Uber Eats, right? Like when we say deliveries, we mean like taking meals up to elderly or disabled people in the buildings surrounding us that can't physically get down. Like no one's like going halfway across the city in their like little Uber car or whatever. So like what it's like delivering stuff and also
like
just generally
Meals on
helping
Wheels.
on the floor. It's more like Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Kind of like the idea of Risa with like a little rickshaw and like loading it up with like hot bowls of soup and like running through.
Oh no, I think that there can definitely be a rickshaw involved. I'm on board with the rickshaw, Sean. And then I think during the like daytime shifts are just like helping out with meal prep.
Yeah.
Because I think Carrick's recognizes a kinship with Risa in that they're both like they both have a lot of fire dice, and they're both very angry about the Republic, and Carrick's like, you know, like philosophy and life experience says that like it's really important to have like outputs that involve creating things as well as outputs that involve destroying them.
Mm-hmm.
And so their whole deal is like, okay, like you get it, you're angry, you want to tear down the Republic, like Me Too, relatable content, but like also let's just quietly knead bread together for a while, and you can like make a thing that is nice to balance yourself.
Yeah. I mean, looking at my dice, there's no balance in that soul.
Exactly, right? Like,
I think sorry.
As an aside, I feel like maybe Pyros is one of those people that you bring food to.
Yeah, that would make sense. Probably, yeah, bringing food to probably a few different people that work
There's a little bundle of us stashed in one of these slums somewhere, and yeah, that like Pyros can make it up the like 3 flights of stairs to his little apartment once. He's not coming back down until the next day, so like he can't go down to get his food.
Yeah. Andrew, how do you spell your character's name? I'm just writing it down somewhere.
Piros.
Piros. Pyros, and then him.
Yeah.
And then
Pyros.
Sean, it was Alex with an.
They should be all in the character journal. Oh, you can't see each other's.
My character's name is Shadi. Shadi.
Yes, I don't know where I even got that. Shadi. And that's she, her.
She, her. Yeah.
And then Risa was they, them.
They, them.
Yeah, cool.
Making it so you can see all those characters in the journal.
If Risa had delivered to Pyros before, I think that recontextualizes their scene.
Doesn't it? I was really.
It was like, "Hey, idiot!" It like as ostensibly like, "I don't know you," but
yeah,
like he pretended not to recognize you.
Yeah.
But we, the audience, only find this out later. We're like, wait, we know each other.
Wait, you know each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like definitely like there is like when Risa arrives in the soup kitchen as like, and it's like getting a bit later. Most of the people have gone, and yeah, there's a clay pot with a lid and like amongst the others, but this one has Pyros written on it. And it's just sitting there waiting to be delivered. What does Risa look like when she comes into the soup kitchen?
Have we at all described what people wear in this society?
I mean, like, so,
yeah, is it?
Yeah, kind of toga-y things, but like it tends to be that like togas, as we know them when we picture them in our head, would probably be more restricted to like upper class and citizens.
Yeah,
is it like formal wear?
It's like tunics and stuff.
Yeah, simple tunics tends to be what's more worn by the laborer class.
Those fuck, what are they called? There's a specific Greek
where it's like there's like the slash down the middle, the big sleeves, and then you wear like a belt, and it's got a little flap.
If somebody opens the book Agon, it says it like on page 3. I just don't have it in front of me right now. Like it's the normal attire.
Okay.
I have that at hand.
Yeah, it's early on.
Okay.
Yeah, it is chitin.
Titan.
Then yeah, I think Risa probably has like their hair tied up, because I'm imagining them with a lot of hair, like their hair tied up to keep it away. They probably have some form of cloth like around their neck that they might have actually had up on their face while they were doing their painting shit. And then just wearing like very simple like laborers' clothes, but they're cut very masculine for their body.
Is there a tiny little splash of red paint on the thing that was around your face?
I mean, yeah, like I said before, it was definitely like blood that Raisa was actually using like pig's blood or something.
Red paint.
Yeah, and so it's probably like on the hem.
It actually is red paint
like
in the
bit.
production. Like, we've used red paint to, like, fake the pig's blood because we didn't want to make the actors...
Yeah.
It was a health and safety kind of concern to have actual pig's blood on set.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we wanted OSHA to sign off in our film.
Synthetic pig's blood was... No pigs were harmed in the making of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Garrick's... What up?
Look, this happens more often than I would like. Yeah, and so I think there's just like they meet Rice's eyes as they come in and like just like give them the like, oh yeah, like at least you're okay, you're not arrested, good, come over here, kind of like all in just one like expression.
What's the? I wonder what the dynamic of the three of us are. I wonder what Shadi.
Yeah, right.
Because I wonder if Shadi is with these two people with very fiery temperaments. I can see lots of explosive interactions, possibly, and I can see Shadi as perhaps having a mollifying effect. But if not, maybe that they're really in line. Then Shadi can have a very like outsider, like I don't feel like I don't connect effect, and I think either of those are interesting. I mean, the like. I think I'm leaning on a trope if I portray Shadi as like the mother character. I don't really feel like that's who she is. So I almost like more that latter idea that like you two really are simpatico and Shadi's like not. Yeah. She doesn't feel connected in those moments.
I mean, yeah, she's the outsider, but she's also kind of reliant on these figures.
Oh yeah. This is where
like the really interesting thing here, Sean, is that actually my highest number of dice is in water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a bunch of fire dice, but water is my strong stat.
And so I have a tie between water and air. And so I think that a lot of our interactions end up being you trying to like, generally you try and like show me that you're all fiery characters, but Raisa like just kind of is trying to take a step back from everything and deflecting.
Yeah, so I think actually, ironically, our relationship, like, yes, there's a dimension that's like, yeah, we're both really pissed at the Republic, but most of our relationship is just like, we're both super water, so we have a lot of feelings of companionship.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
So it's all about our feelings.
Who needs feelings when you can run away from them?
Yeah, and Shadi totally runs away from them. So she's, I think, in this moment where you're like having this like connection. There's like a clank as a couple dishes get like dropped back on the counter, like that like breaks the moment for a second, and then Shadi kind of goes off to do her thing. Not necessarily intending to ruin your moment, but certainly not being a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that there's everybody else around you as well.
Yeah, and so Carrots, like gets this pot that's labeled for Raisa and like hefts it up onto the counter.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably...
I'm delivering, like, tiffins, essentially. If y'all know what those are.
I have no idea what that is.
Here.
Yeah.
Do not know what a tiffin is.
This is a very foreign... We're all learning today. This is exciting.
They're lunch delivery containers that are used in a lot of countries.
That's...
Ah!
All right. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're just like containers that stack together and lock.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Yeah.
Like you drop them off, then you pick them up and wash them, then fill them back with food and drop them off again.
That's neat.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so it's like this big stack of them that I heft up onto the counter. Yeah, and they're like, I think they're each like, they're probably not even labeled because like the routine is so strong at this point that like we know who needs them and who they go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think actually there's no like direct mode of communication. It's just like silent look when you enter the door. My character's like, "Oh, thank God you're not like arrested," and then heaves the thing up, and then it's just like, "All right, cool, you're sorted."
Yeah, Raisa like sheepishly taking the things and like probably straining a bit under the weight, but like I feel like they're a lot stronger than they look.
Yeah, totally.
But just picking them up and quietly like skirting out the back door.
I'd like.
Unless someone catches me.
Remind me if this is the correct way of using momentum. We can darken the scene. We can make something more tragic. All right. So this may just be coloring. You may be like, that's not worthy of momentum. I'm, as a player, just sort of testing the waters here. But I think this is we've described this is very packed. There's a lot of people in here, and so there's not like a pathway for Risa to take. And so you're carrying this like very large and bulky crate. If you had come when you were supposed to pick them up before like the dinner crowd arrived, this would be no problem. But doing it now, you have to like squeeze by people, and there's all of these like protests, like, hey, you know, like it's like you bump somebody and they bump into their soup, and there's like various and sundry like complaints and accusations of your clumsiness, and it's not like you're shouted down, but there's definitely like
a rumble of discontent.
Yeah, a rumble of discontent, and like the irony is that you're literally like carrying food to take care of people, and you're being berated as you do. Like the same people that are eating the food that you're carrying are like berating, because they're inconvenienced, because like they feel like this small amount of annoyance, but they don't care. It's their soup that just got spilled. So
that's 100% like momentum worthy. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
The like for those of us who are familiar with like PBTA type systems, momentum is using a move from a player, like using a GM move from a player.
Yeah, you make a soft move.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you want to flip one of those tokens over, then we've got that for...
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, so I guess my question was to whether or not it was like momentum worthy or not is it sufficient that it's essentially adding flavor to... I just flipped one. But it's essentially adding flavor to the scene, or should I go so far as to be like someone gets in your face and says, hey, what do you think you're doing? Like, does it need to be an actual confrontation that Risa needs to deal with, or can it just be like this general crappiness?
It can be general crappiness, especially because I'm going to now take this and be like, as Risa leaves the room, like there are just like a half dozen people who got like bumped or whatever, all just kind of give a significant look to Carex. They're all like, did you see that? Like, they're all like, and like some of them are like indignant, and some of them are like, Carex, please come on, this is my only soup I've like, that's being spilled. Like,
yeah, totally. And I think Carex is like puts their hands up, like I get it, I know, and like beckons Shadi over. And I think I'm picturing there has to be some kind of system, right? Like both just from a logistical standpoint, and also because like Shadi is a very clever person, and like I can't imagine a world in which she hasn't like optimized.
Yeah, I think Shadi's response to that is like, "Oh, your soup was getting cold. Here, we have some hot soup left." Like,
yeah, exactly. And like yeah, and to my mind, there's also like
everyone up with a little warm soup to.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, oh yeah, you wouldn't want to drink that anyway. It's already gotten cold. Let's get you something fresh.
This sounds like there's a check here. This sounds like something.
Absolutely.
I'm also just like, because like the other thing I think I'm totally picturing here is I think there is a numbering. I think the tables are numbered, but not physically. There's just like a map in both Carex and Shadi's head that's like table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, and none of it is written on them, but so that they can communicate where the problem is or the need is really quickly to one another with hand signs. It's like table 4, and it's like, okay, we both know where to look.
I like the idea that like when Shadi first showed up here, there was this whole period where you were making like number references to her, and she was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. What Carex may or may not know is that there's totally like carvings on the bottoms of the tables. That, that Shadi used in the beginning to like figure out. Yeah. Right, there's notches. There's notches on the tables.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, and like most people don't notice them at all, but Shadi totally needed to use them in the beginning to like figure out which brick table was which, because she didn't.
After the third time that Carex was like 4 and you went to 6 instead because they're on opposite sides and you got confused.
Yeah.
You were like, no, fuck it.
Yeah,
that night, Shadi was there, like, carving the little notch in the side. see.
I feel like
Cool.
this is observing to like notice where the problem is, or tending to like to handle it.
I mean, I'm.
Who wants to make an argument to me?
For me, go on.
I was going to say, I feel like this could be an air roll for me.
I mean, yeah, like. So do you want to air? Do you want to like air? Do you want to have avoided in order to like provide like to reduce the number of successes I'm going to ask of them?
That makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
A linked
Excellent.
action.
Yep. Yep.
One of
yep.
those, you say?
Yeah. And like the thing is, like this is a game where I expect people to jump around in time and be like, "Oh, I would have done this, so I'm going to roll for it."
Okay.
And we don't need to like spend stress or anything because just rolling is always risky.
Yeah. The other question is, I don't remember how to roll. How do I do this?
Okay, so on your character sheet, how many dice of which kind would you like to roll? So, and would you like to bend any? So you increase the number in the roll column, and then select your action in the thing, and then hit the button underneath it.
Also, should we ask chat about where
That's
the
a good
chorus of
point,
fates is
chat. I
sitting
haven't seen
at the moment?
anyone voting for fates yet. If you vote for,
I think it was
different-
before most of them joined us.
Might have been. Chat, you are the chorus of fates. You can vote with the Nightbot commands fire, earth, air, water, and self in order to influence. So I'm gonna vote because that way. Please work. There we go. Great. Cool. So you can see now. Yep. So now we have now put ourselves in a position with our votes. But yeah. So that will actually add an extra dice to every roll that the players roll, depending on what you've voted for.
Oh, I see. So every okay, cool. So the chorus of fates adds to our pool.
Yep.
Depending on what the chorus favors.
Yep.
Right.
So, Raisa, you are going to set your action to avoid. Put any. Yep. So you're bending one and rolling two normally. Cool. And then hit the little button. And cool.
Now, contextually, when we bend, we haven't really talked a lot about
Yeah,
what that
so what
looks
does it
like
look
or
like?
what that means to
Yeah.
our characters.
Exactly. So I wanted to interrogate that. Your bending is successful but exhausting. So you lose 2 air dice all up. But yeah, you definitely like reduce the number of successes. Like you don't make as much of a mess as you might have otherwise.
Does a like
of your bend.
air scoop like catch someone's bowl as it's tipping and like
Yeah.
I mean,
some like real Avatar shit?
I was thinking in Avatar, if any of
Wonderful.
y'all have seen Korra,
Yes. Go on.
the scenes where she's doing the training with the like spinning.
Oh yeah, the spinning
things.
pillars.
Yeah, it's Raisa like weaving in and out, trying to flow with everything.
You're doing the Bagua circle walking. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
And like a little pillow of air, like separating you from nudging into. Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, you don't knock as much. I'm going to make it so that there's one factor instead of like a couple. So that means that in order that I think Shadi's observe or tend is only going to be 2 successes required instead of I was going to put
Cool.
3.
Yeah, my inclination was observe, and that was it's less about taking care of the people that are really upset, and it's about catching them before they get really upset. It's about like cutting them off and appeasing them quickly rather than like letting them build up this frustration.
Okay, is that so if it's about speed, then that sounds more like avoid.
Well, avoid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, avoid is my strongest suit, so
Yeah.
or air is my strongest suit, so
I would like to help.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
And I think what this looks like is that like the pot of food that Shadi grabs to like refill them with, Carrick's like adds a bit of like the really good herbs and spices into it to like give them the really good experience. Like I'm tending them by like being like, no, here is a very nice experience to make up for this minor inconvenience you have.
I mean, it's probably like you just put extra salt in it because salt is expensive.
I mean, pretty much though. Yeah.
But on screen it looks like it's fancy herbs, right? Like it's probably just salt. But like, I want characters to be like, yeah, I'm eating a little of this and a little of that, and yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's oh my god. No, here's what it is. It's a single stamen of saffron.
Ooh,
Yeah. Wow.
wow.
It's the really good shit.
We're going all out here to appease these cranky people.
I think at least one of these people is someone is like a regular who we have like a real relationship with, right? Like
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when you're helping, mechanically speaking, does the helper roll first, and then how does helping work?
Helping works. I set the ob, which for this one is 2. You both choose how many dice are you going to spend on it. You then roll your dice, and the successes are all added up, and you lose any dice that you lose out of it.
Okay, so it essentially is pooling us. Okay.
Yep, and I'm gonna roll
into a group action in Blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean.
Just a tiny bit of bending that Shadi's gonna do, which is that the just as she sets on the bowls, she kind of like. She sets them down and kind of does like a flourish with her hand, and the smells of them just like waft up into their noses, right? Like they're just like there's just this little like, oh, it smells so good, right?
Yeah.
As it fills the room for just a moment with the smells of the soup.
And it just takes the edge of like this thing just came off the stove. It is a little bit too hot. It like takes that off as well.
Cools a little, just a tiny bit. So I'm going to bend with one die, just be a little bendy, but it's mostly just. Getting it.
Ash, is my soup kitchen occupation relevant here?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my thinking. All right, so let's do it.
So we got 1 success from Carrick's.
And when and I'm gonna roll avoid. Okay.
And
we get 5 successes, Sean, with the best.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
And the fates have helped with some fire, so that helped
fates.
warm the soup, I think.
Yeah. Actually, that's 6 successes, I think.
Yes,
One.
yes. It's wait. Soup kitchen shouldn't have fates. Sorry, the fates don't count for the soup kitchen roll.
But the one where we got the success for the fate.
Is on
hang
the
on a
soup
minute.
kitchen.
1, 2, 3.
I don't think it looks like none of the fate ones were successful.
None of the fates were successful because the only successful one was on the soup kitchen. But yeah, you got 5 successes. That's heaps.
We crushed it.
So, yeah.
High five.
Yeah, cool. Who's the person in here that like is the person that you care about that you've really like made them feel like they've been seen?
I feel like and Sean, like, feel free to have input on this. I feel like this is the main person whose like emotional attitude was like, this is my only meal today, like this is a big thing to me. And I think it's a mother who's got like a couple of kids, and I think is a single mother.
Yeah. I think that she has a young child who she's currently breastfeeding as well.
Yep.
Does anyone want to name her, or shall I?
I think her name is Parsa.
P-E-R...
P-A-R-S-A.
P-A-R-S-A.
Yeah. And I think Parsa was not one of the people that had soup spilled on her or horribly interrupted, but when in the commotion, when other people were kind of like, hey, what's up, like her child was the child she was breastfeeding kind of like was dislodged and then started crying and was confused and upset. And she was trying to like coo this child. And I think the particularly spectacular effect that we had, because we rolled so many successes, was that the child was also sort of like soothed by this. She's able to enjoy the soup, but also she doesn't have a crying child, which
exactly,
which helps the whole restaurant.
Which just helps everybody out. Everybody loves it when the child's not crying.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm just gonna put this here so the chat can see that. Cool. Just because so the chat knows what the different elements are about. So, Risa, you're heading out. And yeah, it's pretty late, especially to be delivering dinner. What is it? What is your approach to like delivery? Are you trying to like just be as fast as possible? Are you trying to keep out of trouble? Are you making sure that you're slow and careful with the food? What does it look like as you do these deliveries?
I think it's somewhere between just getting it done fast, but the main worry is like running into citizens, and like getting into trouble that way. And so I think it's a lot of like back alleys, like bringing the like rickshaw or however I'm carrying these things through a lot of like back alleys. And
is the sort of implication that if you were to go past some soldiers or sort of like established citizens, and they might be like, hey, that looks good, and just try and take it from you, like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like
Carrick's food is the best in the city. Those douchey rich people would absolutely try and take it.
I feel like there's probably a couple of like young men who have recently become citizens, who are at this hour probably drunker than they think they are, and are like just wandering the town, announcing their importance through various different disregards for those around them, and so I think they're probably heading down like the main streets. So if you're going to like keep out of their way, I'm gonna want you to avoid them.
Okay.
Which I'm gonna set at
the first sound. Huh?
I'm gonna set that at 3, because it's one for them and one for the fact that it's dark. Like you're.
Yeah. What's the success number?
Pardon?
What's the success to avoid? Yeah.
Oh, the numbers for avoiding for succeeding on avoiding are. They're on page 9 of the PDF, yes, so it's 4 through to 9.
There we go. Okay. Just wondering what all dice I can use for this, because
Earth and air look like the best. Fire's bad.
Fire's not good.
Fire's bad. Okay.
Build is probably Earth is probably not bad. Self is probably not bad.
And how many successes do I have to get here?
I want 3. But remember that if you don't make the number of successes, you can always purchase more successes with compromises.
Okay.
So that is a thing that we can do. All right. So the fates don't grant you anything. You get a success, which means that you can purchase compromises. So we haven't come up against this situation yet, so I want to talk through it for a second. If you have at least 1 success but not enough to achieve your goal, you can gain up to 2 extra successes to help you achieve your intended outcome by buying them with compromises. Each compromise you choose buys you 1 extra success on your roll. So, because this is an avoid, Where am I? I'm finding it. Possible compromises. You hesitate or stumble. You lose track of something. You must abandon something or someone. Or the ones for everything are you achieve a lesser version of your intended effect, a cost must be paid, a complication arises, an armament is lost, damaged, or destroyed. So you actually get to pick which two compromises you want, and then we'll work together to find out how that looks in the fiction.
It only needs to be one, because the Fates have actually granted a success, as well as the one from the Earth guys.
The avoid? No.
Yeah.
Rise of Dominus avoids rolls a void. Success is 1 air loss. The Fates roll a d4 for fire. 2, they grant nothing.
Oh, that's weird, because the text I have here is the Fates roll a d4 for fire. 4, they grant 1 success.
Yeah, that's what I've seen as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing no success.
Wow.
What did you do, Ash?
Do you need to scroll down, Ash, to the bottom of the list, maybe?
What's everyone's roll result for the Fates? Like what did it roll? Because I've got 2.
It rolled
2.
I see a numeral 4.
I see a numeral 4.
And then it grants 1 success.
Roll 20 is pulling a different one for each of those. Huh. All right. That's interesting.
All right, you have haunted the
I will have to
computer
tell
with
you
ghosts.
what the Fates are doing, because it's not displaying the same for everyone. That's a fun result.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Earlier I was like, damn, can she just not read or something? What's up? But
No, it's...
it makes sense now.
Thanks, Andrew.
You're like reporting a different result than I was seeing.
Yeah.
Like,
And the answer is that, roll 20 is fetching that differently. That is fun. Cool. That is okay. I know how we can fix that in future.
So, what happens if I just fail a roll?
Then they will. So in this situation, they will see you.
Yeah.
And they will come and try and steal your shit.
And then you can fight them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be like, hey,
I'm
what's
wondering.
your name?
if I-
Give me the food.
I'm wondering if I should take consequences, or if I should just rely on beating them up.
I mean, compromise sounds like something someone else would do.
Yeah, like not compromising and just trying to beat them up makes sense for Raisa.
I mean, or just gonna put it out there. You could not compromise and then try and tend and soothe and mollify them and convince them.
You mean with my olive? Sorry, what is that? 1 water?
I mean, or Earth. You could try and build a sense of shame in them.
Yep.
That's true.
But also, you absolutely, totally should just kill them.
Yeah, I think I'm not. I think so. I'm going through, and at one point, they turn down a side street that I'm on, and I panic and literally put up some earth in front of me.
Right. Yeah.
My one success is they're walking down, then suddenly there's a dead end wall in front of them.
Yeah.
And they're like,
right.
hang on a minute.
Yeah.
And they're like,
That's illegal.
yeah, they're like, you there, strange, they're like, you there, denizen, where did you learn this? And they're like, and then another one's like, is like, Andros, I smell something delicious. I'm very hungry. And yeah, they start this discussion of Andros is it's like, you're going to be in trouble. You should bring you should maybe bring us some of your delicious food so that we are in a more understanding mood. I don't think you want us to have to tell anyone about what's just happened.
I'd rather give the food to the dogs, thanks.
It's like, and he's like, the dogs. You are the dog here, and yeah, I think he's gonna. I think is like, Andros draws like a small blade, not like a sword. He's not carrying a fucking sword around, but he probably has like a knife or something on him, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, is like, "I will have your ears, doggy. Now come. I want. Now come. Bring it to me."
Did they also firebend the wall away?
Yeah. Well, no. I think they've just like stepped around another corner, right? Like they're like, "What the heck?" and like gone around and approached from like the other side of this alley.
Because being able to bend elements is a super fancy thing, but it's not like all citizens are just like,
No.
I'm thirsty, and like bend water out of the air. Like it's a rare thing. Is my
I mean,
sense of-
yeah, they're all taught some version of it, and use of it by non-citizens is very, very like restricted and limited. But like everyone can do their like all citizens can do their ABCs of bending. Like
Oh, okay. So it is.
Yeah.
It is
Snuffle light a candle flame.
yeah,
Move water in a small way. Conjure a breeze to cool yourself on a hot day.
yeah, things like that. They can all do something like that. But like for instance, Andros and his gang are not going to be great at like earthbending because that's just not who they are. Like that's not who they are inside, so therefore it's harder for them to do that bending.
Yeah. So Andros is like beckoning me over to serve them
With a knife, yeah.
with a knife. Yeah.
Make the knife really hot so it burns his hand.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm the bad idea bear. You should do what I say.
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea, actually.
You strike at his hand with your firebending.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Andros. So, 3.
Huh?
You need 3 successes.
Oh, okay. You were just like 3, and I was like, what?
3 successes for for a strike roll.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
chorus
assuming...
of fates is with you.
The chorus of fates is on your side. But they, according to me, they don't roll anything, so they don't grant you
Damn
anything.
it! Wait, that's really weird. For me, it says they roll a 4, but they still grant nothing.
Yeah, 4 is
I
the
see
only
they roll-
value for a strike.
I see they roll 2 and grant 1 success. I think
Yeah.
we might just need to manually roll the fates.
Maybe. I think there's a way to fix it, though. That's all right. We'll just use whatever is on the screen that chat can see.
Look, y'all. What y'all are failing to understand is that fate is fickle. It's that fickle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, so
It's
that's
meant
2
to
successes.
confuse.
Would you like a compromise?
Yeah.
Because then you can succeed, but it'll just you'll just have a something that means that it's less.
Do some collateral damage
I
to
was
his
going to say,
hand.
gonna say,
I'm looking at this
right?
list. There's one that says there's collateral damage.
Collateral damage was the
That
one.
sounds amazing.
Yeah. Is that what you want to choose?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
And to be fair, your initial bending was not something that should have caused collateral damage, right? Like just making the knife hot should just make him drop it and leap in
Yeah.
pain.
It was like a panic him, freak him out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right,
Then
so this
his
is when out of
clothes
control.
catch on fire.
The
and
knife
it's like,
literally
oh boy.
turns to molten steel in his hand, embedding itself in his palm. He screams, and his friends start screaming as well. Some of whom who hadn't even been paying attention, they just hear screaming, so they start screaming. And yeah, he goes down on his knees and starts clutching at his hand. That is now a mess of bone and flesh and scorched blood and molten and quickly hardening molten steel.
Oh yes.
What, dude?
I mean, can I just leave now?
Yes?
I doubt they're gonna follow me after that.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
So that's gone well.
Peacemakers, my
Yeah. All right.
I'm sure no one will tell anyone about this.
And yeah, exactly.
My father will hear of this, Potter.
Yeah, right. So I think I want to pause for a break with you arriving at Pyrrhus's house.
Okay.
And then we can cut back and forth between things from there. So we'll quickly stop for a break, and I will fix this problem with the rolling thing. All right, back soon, chat.